Hi guys, and welcome back to Media Strikes Back, a show about Melbourne and all its undiscovered secrets and talent. Now, sitting next to me is a discovered secret and talent, JD.
Hi Jay, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great.
And let's just take a second to listen to everyone at home. How are you?
Yes, how are you guys?
Yeah, no, I thought so. You look totally well. Great. Anyway, we've got a lot going on this episode.
Oh, don't we?
What have we got? What have you been up to?
Well, I'm going to be talking to you shortly about the House of Honeys.
A rock band. And also we talked to Minx, Little Raven, and Tom has been having some time with his honeys and his dating segment again, which they check out. What is involved with having a sneak peek?
Yeah, can't get rid of that guy.
So, can't get rid of that guy.
No, but speaking of Honeys,
Yes,
House of Honeys.
tell me about him.
What a band. New up and coming rock band, and they are booming. They've got the AFL campaign sorted, so, I mean, let's go have a look at these
Let's
guys.
go have a look, see what they've got going on.
Here I am, guys, with two of the band members from the House of Honeys, and I've got Mike, otherwise known as Piz or Pizzy, and I've got Anthony, otherwise known as Spaz. Is that right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're here to talk about your much anticipated debut album, which you guys are recording right now. We're in the Sing Sing studio, so that's what you guys are recording here, and that's called TikTok. But previous to that, you've had a fair bit of publicity over the last sort of year, or building up to that this year.
Yeah.
And you've released your debut single, which was The Waiting.
Found a lot of support, especially in commercial radio, which we didn't really expect. And
Right.
the people that we're working with, we didn't even bank on any form of promotion for Australia with our sort of style of music. So getting the attention that we're getting in Australia has been fantastic.
But that's also the kind of music that you guys are portraying. You want to bring the Australian rock and roll back, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's what we've always done. So we're obviously always changing our music as well. But at the moment, I think the scene of the rock world or hard rock world is kind of diminished in Australia, at least. But the rest of the world, it's still kicking goals. So
We're I mean, you know, we're music lovers from a young age, so we're doing the music that we'd like to hear as well,
Yeah.
as it's fun to play, you know.
We talked about the flavours and the different influences that you guys have in terms of bringing your Australian rock and roll back to Australia. And I think one of the big things that you guys have coming up is the AFL. Is that right?
well, yeah, I believe they've picked it up. The waiting. It's funny actually. The waiting is actually a softer side of us than we're usually used to, but
Okay.
We've got chosen guys and girls that watch the footy that there is Aussie rock still out there, and so we'll just have to see how it goes from there.
You are busy in the studios recording TikTok, which comes out in April. Is that right?
Well, TikTok is a song we've sort of already done, so this album's to be titled. We haven't got a title for it yet. This album.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, we haven't. We've got a few options coming up that we're finding out for overseas in the next coming weeks, and that's where I think we'll be based for a lot of this year.
Okay.
And as far as Australia, we're still just dealing with certain things at the moment for gigs, but yeah, until we finish this album, we'll have to stay focused on the job at hand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's really good to have that focus rather than be sort of out and about and then having to come back into the studios and then out and about.
Yeah,
as well.
that's it. We're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. It's sort of, you know, it's been a bit of a rush over the summer period to just keep writing and keep doing our thing. So now that we've got that, we just want to make sure we finish it off nicely.
We want to ask about another guy on your team, and that's, of course, Stephen James. So tell us about, who is this guy?
He is the captain, really, the general.
The general.
In the studio, very well-known producer. We were fortunate enough to work with him on the EP just late last year. So he grabbed our stuff and did his wonders on it. And then he liked what we were coming up with for the next album, and he's sort of background with Sex Pistols, Thin Lizzy, that kind of She Had, all of those guys.
Screaming Jets.
He's had a lot of sex. A lot of sex.
He's had a lot of sex. Good on him.
Yeah.
Don't tell his wife that.
You're going to ask him
Guys
for a
do.
few pointers.
He's going to have some questions for him when he gets back home. What's this sex stuff about?
Yeah,
It's
Anyway.
mainly with Bo anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got The Waiting, which is currently out.
Yep.
Okay. And the next single to be released is TikTok.
TikTok. Bit more of a rock, bit more of a fast-paced, run-of-the-mill House of Honey style trap. So that'll be, I think that's coming out in the next couple of weeks,
Fantastic.
according to our boss.
According to your boss,
Our boss, yeah.
who won't be named.
Won't be named.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys very much for coming and speaking with us today from Media Strike to Back. And we certainly will be following you guys and pumping up that Australian rock and roll and boosting you guys along the way.
You better.
Thank you.
No worries.
JD, you had a great chat, but you really struggled with the name.
I did. I think I was...
Didn't you do your warm-ups pre-shoot?
I didn't, I didn't do the, red leather, yellow
Yeah,
leather thing.
look, I've got a couple of great tongue twisters that I will teach you in the break.
Oh, excellent.
So, guys, stick around, and I'm going to teach JD how unique New York is unique. Let's do that one. Catch you soon,
we'll
guys.
Do it on the ad break.
Yeah. And you've returned to Media Strikes Back. I've got Maritza and Yana. Great, ladies. You're looking fantastic in your patterns and prints.
Thank you very much. Got some going on yourself.
Yes, I do. I've got the tiger top, which I love. And I was actually thinking the other day, are you ever too old to wear animal print?
Oh, I think if you do it in the right way, no.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But then I was like, well, there's the concept of the cougar. Later we've got Tom's dating thing. Well, we will be exploring all the different dating titles and whatnot. Anyway, if you're a cougar, should you really dress like one?
Well, honey, I'm Russian, and we wear all sorts of type of animal prints, any age, and I don't think it'll ever die.
Don't do it top to toe.
Top to toe, that's right. Speaking of top and toe, you caught up with a dancer.
Yeah, we did. We caught up with Minx. She was incredible. She was a bright, sparkly personality, and
She was just absolutely beautiful inside out, and can she move?
she can hoot.
Let's see how she...
moves as well.
Yeah,
so
let's
not
see how
only
you do
those.
it.
And you're looking very beautiful and colourful over here. I don't know if you can see all the effort that went into her makeup. There's green and yellow and glitter and all sorts of things going on. So you obviously have a passion for makeup, but more interestingly is that you actually taught yourself.
Yeah. I had pretty strict parents growing up, so I wasn't actually allowed to wear makeup or buy my own clothes, or even hair product was a big no until I started doing it for performance reasons. That was the only way I was allowed to wear it. So look what happens when you don't let your kids wear makeup. They're going to go crazy later on. No, but I just love colors. I love being creative, and I have a lot of creative energy that if I don't get it out, I feel kind of stuck.
Yep.
So I use my outfits and my makeup on a daily basis to get that creativity out.
And even though it's self-taught, did you have any other resources that maybe you turned to, maybe YouTube or?
Yeah, definitely a child of the YouTube generation. I basically just started playing around. Practice makes perfect. So, when you first start trying to do your eyeliner, it takes half an hour to do one eye and then 40 minutes to get the other one looking the same.
Yeah, we know that.
Symmetry.
Yeah.
And you mentioned as well that you get some inspiration from certain types of dancers.
So YouTube tutorials are fantastic for like playing around and getting some advice on how to play around with your own makeup or fashion even. And drag queens. They're the best ones. They know all the tricks.
So you're out there and you've always looked bright and colourful. Have you ever been treated differently because of that?
For sure. I experienced a lot of bullying growing up. That was mainly based off the fact that I look a bit different, the fact that I do have Asian heritage, and my birth name is Chinese. I was never given a Western name like a lot of immigrants are given. So I experienced racism, nerdism, all that kind of bullying growing up. And more recently, because I do put myself out there looking different walking down the street, I do get like things called out to me, people trying to take photos and strange things like that. But I like to still express myself regardless of what other people are going to say, because it shouldn't matter what a person looks like to how they should be treated.
Absolutely. You definitely stand out in a crowd, so it's a good thing.
But I mean, obviously it's not easy to just pick yourself up and carry on and get over that type of attitude that you've experienced. Have you used other resources, maybe read some books, or You know, how did you overcome all those issues?
Well, it was probably at its worst throughout high school, especially doing high school in a rural area where I was the only kind of Asian person in that area. Even though I'm a mix, I don't look particularly Asian, but the Asian name gave it away, and people just kind of honed in on that. And being academically inclined, being a nerd at school and loving to study, wasn't the biggest deal in a rural community either, where like football and netball was the hype, and I didn't play sports. So being different in that way, my main focus was to work really hard and do the best that I could in school so I could get myself out of that situation, and that's what got me to Melbourne, because I moved here to study at university. So that was the way I coped.
Self-development and tuning into things that you love, and that helped a lot. That's great.
Do you feel you're a stronger and a better person because of what you've been through, or what would you say to a younger version of yourself if you could go back in time?
Keep going, keep doing what you're doing, because it's going to get better, basically. Yeah, it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah, kids can be mean, can't they?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And when we get a bit more mature when we grow up, hopefully. Now, what have you got coming up for 2013? What's sort of big for you in the next 12 months?
Well, I'd like to focus a little bit more on developing my street Latin styles this year. I had a bit of a focus more on like the pop kind of stuff last year, so I was hoping to get a little bit more into my roots, having a Latin American kind of father. So I'll be traveling around teaching overseas and interstate this year a bit more, which is kind of exciting because I like traveling. And maybe even looking at getting into a little bit of singing, but especially wanting to develop my website and the YouTube tutorials that I teach. So I do a lot of makeup development on YouTube as well. So trying to spread the colourful love.
Excellent. Well, look out for her, MissMinx.com. Hopefully we can see her in action soon.
She is fabulous.
Yeah, told you.
Yeah, Yana. I didn't see the Yana move though.
I know, but I learned some new ones. You know, got to evolve.
Yeah, this is very true, actually. This is very true. And we do have to evolve as the show goes on, which means we're going to a commercial break. But please stick around and we'll see you when we get there. Hi guys, you're watching Media Strikes Back and I am joined with the Gene team. Steph and Tom.
Hey guys.
Yep.
Did you pre-plan this?
We did. Yeah, of course we did.
I'll own it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Why didn't you give me the memo? I've got some awesome dungarees I could have bought out. It would have been amazing.
If all of us were wearing it.
Yeah.
We haven't crossed the line yet.
Yeah, we are trying to get more viewers actually. I remember that, guys. Anyway, you went and saw Little Raven 1. Can you tell me about it?
Well, it was very interesting actually, Joe, because there was lots of guests that spoke about different erotic stories that they wrote.
Erotic stories.
Yeah.
Now, don't we all have a couple of those, Tom?
Oh, don't point the finger at me. Hang on a sec. No, it was actually, I've heard a lot of things in my...
I actually wanted you to tell me an erotic story now.
What time's the show on again? 7 o'clock?
Okay, you could use like euphemisms and anyway, Steph, can you tell me an erotic story?
I can't.
She's all giggles. The more giggly a person is, the more erotic their story is. That's just the way it happens. So, enough about our stories.
Look,
Let's go and
some
see
fun
their
stuff.
story.
Have a listen.
Thought about Miriam's solid legs and thighs. I only got a glimpse of them when she left the room. Mum would call them peasant stock. I imagined their strength around my head and how it would feel to slide my hand up her skirt. When I came out, Mum was asleep. Her legs were splayed and head lolled back onto a beige cushion. Her mouth announced itself through dry breaths. I've never seen her this relaxed. Noises came from the dark kitchen. Out like a light, Miriam muttered and reached for some glasses. Do you want a drink? She turned and looked at me. How old are you? 18? I grinned at her. Next week. Miriam turned on the dim light and searched for a bottle. Her apron was off and I could see her hips and belly. She innocently stood on her toes to reach the back of the cupboard, showing me the shape of her breasts. I hoped that when she came down, a Hanukkah miracle would rip her bra off. Oh, whiskey okay? Uh-huh, I sighed as she held up the bottle. Mum was snoring as I took the 2, 3, 4 steps towards Miriam. She lifted her head up when she sensed me behind her, but kept pouring drinks and adding ice. I moved in closer.
What's going on tonight and what your role is in particular?
Okay, well, tonight's the launch of Little Raven 1, our first anthology, ebook anthology of erotic fiction. So tonight there's going to be readings by lots of the authors who appear in the ebook and also performances from Vava Boomba Burlesque. And yeah, it's a pretty exciting night.
So Thomas, you're doing a reading, aren't you, tonight? And what is your reading about?
I am. Well, it's one of the many stories that are making up the anthology, and mine, I guess the best way to describe it is it's zombie erotica.
Oh, that's a bit different.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
By accident. It started off as a gag. I started writing this piece partly as a writing exercise, partly as a bit of a joke, and it kind of evolved into a fully developed piece, which kind of fits in and also kind of really stands out as being something quite different.
It is really different. I've never actually heard of it before.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it. I figured the idea came from me thinking, how would zombies have sex? What would that be like? So I had to go at writing that up, and I'm still amazed that Vanessa included it.
Very exciting. So are you expecting quite a few people to come tonight, or?
Yes, you never know on Facebook, but there should be a good turnout, yeah.
Awesome. And have you done this before, this event?
We hold regular open mic readings called Spin the Bottle, and we've also held events here before called The Good Bits, which is kind of a best of the Spin the Bottle, and so we hold a few regular events.
So tell us about the burlesque aspect of what's going on tonight.
So we've got a few of our performers who will be performing in between readings tonight.
Right.
We've got Emmeline Spankhurst, Miss Charity Case, and Cupcake Kitten. So they'll be sort of just adding a little bit of extra sort of oomph and va-va-voom to the evening as well.
And what kind of people do you get involved in this? Obviously it takes more than just one person. You get performers, obviously.
Yeah, look, people seem to be very interested in erotic fiction and erotica, and I don't know, through this I've met lots of people in different sort of semi-related areas, burlesque and other publishing houses, and no, people are just very happy to be involved, which is wonderful.
So how do you come up with most of your performances? Like when you do a reading, what goes into being involved in it, and what goes into the process of it?
As in the performative aspect?
Yeah.
Look, I like to do it pretty straight down the line. I've got a background in presenting, doing radio, and I was on Channel 31 billions of years ago as well.
Yep.
So I tend to read the piece as it is.
Yep.
I'm not really a performance, spoken word poet person. I just deliver it straight down the barrel, and I hope the piece speaks for itself.
Perfect. Well, I'm very excited to hear what you've got.
Yeah, well, I hope you don't think it sucks.
No, definitely. I think it's very interesting from what I'm hearing already. Awesome. And in terms of your reading tonight, what is that about?
I'm reading my story that is in the anthology. It's called Exquisite Corpse. It has nothing to do with necrophilia, I promise.
Right, okay.
And it's a story told in very short 100 to 150 word vignettes that will sort of add up to a more cohesive whole.
That's really interesting. I like that. And how do you go about, what's next from here? What are you guys hoping to achieve?
To bring out regular anthologies. This one's called Little Raven 1, so hopefully there'll be a Little Raven 2.
Yes.
And we're also going to bring out a Fitzroy themed anthology as part of Strip Fest for next year. So submissions are open, and
awesome.
Regular events, and see what happens.
Your stories, and how do you come up with it all to do tonight?
I guess I have a fairly saucy imagination, and I like to sort of think about things quite creatively. I read a lot of erotic fiction as well, so there's that sort of feedback thing when you're reading it, you're thinking about it, so it becomes easier to write it.
Do you think that's an inspiration for a lot of the people tonight, like reading stuff like that, or just to know what to do?
Yeah, just people, and I think writing erotic fiction and writing about sex can be quite different from writing other forms of fiction as well.
Absolutely, and it takes an enormous amount of, thinking outside the box and talent to do it. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, it's a really good awareness, for everyone out there to know about this, and we're looking forward to seeing the show.
Well, although he didn't dress the same on that one, guys, I think he did a great job.
Yeah, we didn't pre-plan that one.
We didn't know, but it was weird being there, because you hear, yeah, we've all heard those kind of stories, but to hear them in an audience environment with people around, and there was fat burlesque in between, which is a good mix-up, but it was just saying it's so weird a night, you know, and of course Melbourne, you know, has that kind of thing going on.
Absolutely, there's all sorts in all sorts of places. So speaking of all sorts of places, Tom, I heard you've been looking in a few places in your relationship segment.
I personally haven't been looking. Well, you know, we all do to an extent. We all do a bit of perving,
It's
don't we?
natural. It's natural. Anyway, how's it been going?
The show, yeah, really good. The segment, it's I enjoy it, and it's fun to read the viewer questions and see what we want to talk about next week and all that. And yeah, there's a funny one about, you know, when's it safe to check out someone, or whether that's okay to, or
and you know, this is a question I've been wondering over the couple of weeks, Tom. How do you know all of this stuff?
Well, I've got a few years under my belt.
Okay.
And I've been in relationships, I've been out of relationships, I've been in other people's relationships.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's really interesting.
So, you know, it's like there's just a lot of I don't know, I guess.
And you're just kind of keeping it real, and that's I guess that's what we need, because I can think of a lot of time that's wasted with wondering, what are they thinking? What are we thinking? What should I do? Should I?
Trying to simplify dating and
Yeah.
relationships for people.
Well, let's see how you do it.
Now, this week we don't have a viewer question because I've got a little bit of a story that shows you how inexperienced I am at this. A friend of mine, this girl, she said to me once, besides, I'd never actually want to be your girlfriend. I'd hate to be your girlfriend. I said, how come? She goes, because you perv all the time. You are always looking at other girls, and it'd drive me crazy because I wouldn't want you to be doing that. And I said, really? I have no idea I'm doing it. And she said, trust me, you do it. So clearly, whatever tactics I'm employing aren't working. So I've got no real authority on this one. All I can say is that if a girl asks you if another girl is pretty, don't say that they're prettier than the girl. I think everyone kind of knows that one. But that's about all I've got. So we've got lovely Tasha here with us.
What's up?
Hello, Tasha.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Great,
That's
great.
good.
Going very well. What do you think of this topic? How do you mind if a guy's perving? Can you tell? What do you think?
Sometimes you can. I mean, like, some guys can be really creepy when they're perving. A couple of my mates were at Bondi Beach once, and we found someone else was sunbaking topless. So we're like, oh, okay, let's do that too. We don't want tan lines. We did that. Sat up 2 seconds later, and we found this guy, this old man, just sitting on a beach towel right in front of us like this.
All right, so obviously on the beach with the perv, but how about just the walk past and then the guy does their...
Well, I
that
think
kind
it's
of thing
funny.
at a cafe
I mean,
or-
like, if it's my mate or something and I just notice them checking out a chick, I'll be like, oh yeah, that, you know, eyes this way, guys. We're walking this way. Watch where you're going. You don't want to hit a car or something. But I guess it's kind of natural. Well, I feel as though it's natural for guys to kind of do it. I mean, sometimes girls do it too. Like, they don't perv on, like, sometimes they perv on other girls. Like, be like, oh, she's got a nice ass. Wish I had an ass like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Or
how about guys? Are they looking at their muscles or their bulges, or like, what do you guys perv on?
when we look at guys, well, I don't personally look at the bulges. It's mainly like, you know, their arm. Well, my favorite part about a guy is like their arms, the shoulder, and the neck.
Is it creepy to check out a guy like that?
Actually, no. I think guys like it if girls check them out. Like, yeah.
I can smell a double standard.
Okay, no, sometimes it's cute if guys check out girls in the cute way, not like the staring at them, like
So no creeping.
no blinking, no nothing.
How
But-
about if you're on a date with a guy, or it's a guy that you're with, maybe in a bit more of a committed relationship? If you saw them perving on a girl, how would you react?
Well, I guess it depends on what the relationship is like between you two. If you guys are casual and cool with like checking out other people and be like, oh, she's pretty hot, or yeah, that's cool. But if you guys are just starting dating, or if you guys are on like tender ground or something, you wouldn't want your man staring at another girl. No.
Okay, so guys, I don't know what we do different, but just don't look at girls in front of other girls, especially if it's your partner or something like that. because they don't like it and they want to be the only girl in the world. So just think Rihanna, all right? Maybe just think Rihanna and put some sunglasses on too. All right. We'll see you next week. Sex, dating, relationships. Happy loving until then. See you guys.
Well, I'm certainly glad I took notes during that one, Tom, because I really feel like now I've got the keys to the kingdom as far as having a sneak peek goes. I do actually have a couple of tricks up my own sleeve, but we won't talk about that now. So, guys, yeah, we all do. So if any of you out there have any questions for Tom, or actually any of us about anything at all, whether it's relationships or you'd like to be on our show, please make sure that you write to us on Facebook, go to our website. We're getting around and about most of the social media these days, so make sure you check us out. And the Jean team and I will see you next week.
We will. We might match something else. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Bye, guys. Thanks.